Hello everyone and welcome to the second video of repairing a pair of Voodoo 2 cards. Now I have to say that this is going to be a repair attempt because this card is in bad shape. You may have seen a teaser in my previous video, but it looks like this card suffers from an irreparable damage. One of the 3DFX chips is broken. Here you can see how the chip is cracked right through the center, and unfortunately it's through the entire height of the chip as well. So I don't know what is going to await us today. I have no idea if this chip works, if the die inside is cracked, or maybe, if we are lucky, only one of the copper traces inside is broken. But there are so many other issues on this card. For instance, the VGA connectors need to be replaced. There are tons of SMD components that are cracked or missing. Then we have the SLI connector that needs to be rectified, missing pins on the 3DFX chips. This is the TMU number 1. And as we will see later, some of the memory chips also lost their connections to the pads. So all in all, there is so much work to be done on this card, but I do understand that most of you are interested in the cracked 3DFX chip. So I will not spend too much time on the repairs of this card, however I still want to show it, or at least part of it. So let me work now on all the issues that are not related to the cracked 3DFX chip, and then we can try and see if this card shows any sign of life, or if we have to first sand down the chip and see what's going on inside. At least I hope that we can see something. And if this doesn't work, I have a backup plan because I'm in possession of 2 new FBI chips. So if everything fails, we still may end up with a working 3DFX Voodoo 2 card. Wow, that was a lot of work, but I think everything except the cracked 3DFX chip is fixed on this card. So what did we do? We fixed the SLI connector, we replaced the VGA connectors, we fixed all SMD capacitors and resistors. I think in total there were about maybe 25 that were either damaged or missing. Then I reflowed at least 5 memory chips because the corners were no longer making contact to the pads below. This card must have been either in a big pile of other electronics that just bumped the card around and caused also the crack in this FBI chip. Then, of course, we also fixed this corner on the TMU chip. So now there are, I think, 7 new pins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. 8 new pins. There were some pins that were very weak and broke off while I was working on this chip, so I decided to more or less replace most of the corner. I think 1 is the original pin of these 8 pins here. And of course, everywhere where there was an issue on the PCB, I applied fresh solder mask, so there are spots and dots everywhere. But yeah, now we can try this card in a system. I don't trust it at all. What I will do off camera now is I will just verify that there is no short anywhere on the connections on the PCI connector. And I will have a thermal camera pointing at the card while powering on the system. But before we will start, a big thank you to today's video sponsor, PCBWay. Every time I've used PCBWay, the experience has been nothing short but fantastic. Their high-quality PCBs consistently exceeded my expectations, and their customer support team is always ready to help with questions or adjustments, making the whole process stress-free. PCBWay offers other services like CNC machining, 3D printing, sheet metal fabrication, and injection molding. So if you're looking for a reasonably priced partner for your next projects, give PCBWay a try. Links are in the video description. Okay, I didn't detect any short on the card, but we will see if this is a good sign or a bad sign. I will now move over to the thermal camera because in case I see something that shouldn't be there, that I have a quick way of switching off the power. But yeah, so let's see if this card will work at all or if we won't even get a signal. Okay, and here's my hand. So let's see what will happen. Oh, that chip gets really hot in one corner. I don't think this is correct. I switched off now because I don't trust it. I may have to try this again. Unfortunately, there was the yellow cross and the temperature reading in there. I will try this maybe one more time without it. I don't know if the system would have posted with this card in it. I think we have to try this one more time. Okay, the thermal camera points now to the FBI chip only. That may give us a little bit a better view on the entire chip. Let's try this one more time. And, well, you can see that I think you can see the crack in the die. And one part gets a lot hotter than the other part. And the system does not even give a beep code. So unfortunately, I think this chip is completely damaged. I still want to sand down the 3DFX chip because I want to see how it looks inside this housing of this 3DFX chip. I don't know how much we will see, but yeah, I think from the thermal image, it is very clear that this chip is dead. And one more thing, I don't know if you have seen it, but one of the memory chips got hot quite quickly. At least a lot faster than the one that is located above. So maybe let's have a look at this group of 4 memory chips and see how they behave when we have the thermal camera pointed at them. Okay, let's power on the system one more time and have a look at these 4 memory chips in the corner. Because maybe one of these chips is receiving a lot more power through the data lines or signal lines due to the cracked 3DFX chip. So let's try this and see how the memory chips look like. Okay, interesting. Right now it looks okay. But the system doesn't post. The reason why I want to figure out what's going on here is because I want to know if it is safer to replace this memory chip or not. So I did try it one more time, and then the memory chip looked like this. So there is definitely something going on here, and this memory chip definitely receives more power than it should. I think the next thing I want to do is to lift the 3DFX chip from the card. The FBI chip needs to go anyway. Oh, and by the way, here is the 3DFX chip. And as you can see, we already have the crack. So yes, the entire chip cracked. There is absolutely no chance that the die inside survived this. So yeah, maybe the copper traces that are inside the chip are holding this entire assembly together right now, otherwise it would just break apart. We'll still try to get a glimpse inside this chip, but this will come at the end of this video. First, we need to get this Voodoo 2 to work. Okay, let's quickly test if we get a post screen with the FBI chip removed. Yes, we do. That's great news, because the issue we have faced before, that the Voodoo 2 was preventing the system to boot, is gone. So most likely it was related to the broken FBI chip. Now the only thing left is to solder one of those FBI chips to this Voodoo 2, and then hopefully the card will work again. So everything is set up here now, and I said I will try one of these candies. I was told that this is from Poland. So let's have a look what these candies look like. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I know these. I think there's something very similar in Germany.
Wer hat's erfunden? Hä?
Die Schweizer
Wer genau?
vom Ricola.
So, let's get one of these FBI chips on this card. So the candy is really nice. I can't describe it really. It's a little bit fresh minty, but not really mint. It tastes really good. So thank you so much for including those. Now I'll apply some flux on the pads, and then I will try to seat the FBI chip on top of it. And then I will just go ahead and solder all pins of the FBI chip. And then we will see if this card will render 3DFX games again. Okay, now careful. Here's the new 3DFX chip. The new chip is on the card and we are ready to test this Voodoo 2 in our test system now. And once again, we are here at the moment of truth. If we power on the system now and we get a picture, this is a big step up, because previously with the old FBI chip, the system wouldn't even post. So let's see what happens when we power on the system. And will we see a working Diamond Monster 3D 2? Yes, we get a picture. This is one step up. I want to go immediately to DOS. And I want to run Mojo. Oh. Okay, fine. Let's go to Windows and check if the Voodoo 2 is detected there. Now, there are Voodoo 2 drivers installed. If no Voodoo 2 is present, I should get a error message, but so far I don't get anything. So I'm assuming the device is being detected. Yes, it's here. Now the question is, will this tab work? Oh no, it doesn't. Okay. Looks like we're not yet done. The chips on the card are completely cold. Yeah, there is still a major problem on this card. Okay, let's try Mojo. Oh no, Mojo gets stuck too. Ah, what a shame. Still no working Voodoo 2. Let's try Witchery. Okay. Oh no. The FBI chip doesn't respond. That's not good. So let's see, what did we get? So Witchery did detect our Voodoo 2. FBI Chuck is busy. Maybe we have more issues on this card that I didn't see. I have another Diamond Monster 3D2, which I could use to compare the strap resistors. I replaced one of these resistors. Maybe there is one more that is broken. I think I have to inspect the card one more time. I already spent a full day looking over the entire board, front and back. But then we have an issue with stage 2. So FBI doesn't respond. Can't get access to RAM DAC for configuration. Check for stable plus 5 volt on RAM DAC on each of these pins. So we have pin 9, 61, 27, 41, 43, and 50. If any of the power inputs is low, check ferrite beads nearby the RAM DAC. I did replace the ferrite bead there. Maybe this is the issue. But let's continue and look at the output that we get further down. If power is okay, check next pins on RAM DAC for good connection and or shorts. So you get a lot of information here, which is absolutely great for debugging. Let's see, maybe I'll be able to get this card working by just following the instructions that are outlined here on Witchery. So, very interesting. I think we have to look between the FBI chip and the RAM DAC. There was a lot of damage. You have seen how the ferrite bead was cracked in the middle and it was bubbling when I removed it. So maybe there is something else on the board that I haven't seen. So what I can tell is from the thermal images that the RAM DAC definitely gets power. It's getting warm. And so does the FBI chip. You could see that something is heating up inside the FBI chip. So the chip is working. Both of the TMUs are cold, but we're also not rendering anything. So maybe that's okay. So maybe we have a RAM DAC issue here. RAM DAC type, no, FBI was busy for too long. Okay, to sand down the 3DFX chip, I picked up some different grade sanding paper. There's very rough to medium to very fine sanding paper. So I'll try to get as much of the housing off as possible that we get close to the die. And then, well, let's see what we can find inside the chip. Maybe we will even see the crack in the silicon. So I will start this now. This will be probably a very long process, 10-15 minutes maybe, who knows. But yeah, I will just start and then we should see quite quickly what's inside this chip. Okay, so I start with 120 sanding paper and we'll try to, unfortunately, get rid of the 3DFX logo. That will take a very long time. So yeah, my plan doesn't work out. This will take just way too long. I will use my engraving pen now, trying to take as much off as possible. And then hopefully I will still be able to expose the die. Okay, so here is a little bit of the 3DFX chip. So I'm trying as good as I can, but here you can see the crack of the 3DFX chip. So yeah, there was no way to get this to work. There are already parts of the silicon coming out. And what you can see here, this one most likely is then connected directly to the 3DFX chip. So this is very interesting to see. Unfortunately, yeah, the grinding was just too much and I destroyed these fine wires, but there was no way of fixing this anyway. So yeah, if I press here, you can see the crack in the silicon also moving somewhat. Okay, what I want to do now is, since there is nothing to be done here, I will try to use hot air to heat this part up. Maybe I can break off most of the epoxy housing here, and then we can maybe have a look at the chip in clearer detail. Can see right now. I heated up the chip with my hot air station because I thought it's easier to break off chunks of the plastic, but nah, this is not possible. But I think you can clearly see that there are multiple cracks in this chip. There is nothing that could have been done, even with the best equipment whatsoever. This chip was dead. And here is the 3DFX chip. It is much smaller than I thought. And it's cracked in way more places than I thought. So of course this could have been also my doing, but so here was the original crack, which comes here, and it went through the chip. For sure this was causing damage to this die. So you have one crack that is running all the way across here. You have a crack here. And then I think this one here was the original crack that went like this and through the entire die and then came out here and continued through the entire housing here. So yeah, here you have it. A 3DFX Voodoo 2 Chuck, or the FBI chip, CK. Unfortunately, when I dig down, I scratched the surface of the chip here a little bit with my engraving pen. But there are still a few areas that are untouched. Let's go here maybe to the side. Let's see how nice we can make this. So there are some structures. Can I go further? Oh, there we go. Oh, I can even go further. There you are. So, yeah, this is the FBI chip of the Voodoo 2. Here are big cracks in the die. There's still some alcohol in it, so it makes the colors shine through a little bit nicer. That would be cool if we see somewhere a 3DFX marking, but I think I destroyed that chip too much. I don't think we'll see anything that would identify this chip as a 3DFX chip. So I was already done with the video, and then I was like, maybe there are die shots of FBI chips online, and I did find one. If you Google the model number of the chip and die shot, you will see this picture. But also here in the left bottom corner is a 3DFX copyright 1997 etched into the corner of the die. So of course I had to see if I still have that. And I tried to be very careful with tweezers to poke around and try to remove as much of the plastic as possible. But I did find it. Look at this. Here you can see the 3DFX logo, copyright 1997. Unfortunately, there is a bit of a crack that damages the top part of the logo, but well, this is all I could find with my microscope. Now let's admire the colors a little bit, and then we move on to the rest of the video. But what about this card now? So I basically followed all suggestions that I was given by Witchery. I checked the communication between the FBI chip and the RAM DAC. I checked all these resistors to see if maybe there is one more cracked. I checked this one ferrite bead one more time. Then I took an oscilloscope to test all the voltages and the frequencies for the pins that were given in Witchery, but all of it seems to be fine. So the only thing that I did then was to reflow the solder joints around the RAM DAC before I really considered to replace it. So here you can see the new shiny surfaces of the solder joints around the RAM DAC. Everything got a nice touch with the soldering iron, even the chip next to it, this one here. And guess what? After I reflowed both chips, I don't know which chip it was, the card started working and I got this output in Witchery. Of course, without the help of Witchery, I may have looked for something else. Maybe I would have looked for more SMD resistors or broken traces or something like that. But Witchery clearly pointed me towards the FBI chip and the RAM DAC. And because I was fairly certain that the FBI chip is working, at least it's a new old stock, so I was assuming that it's working, I thought it has to be the RAM DAC. We have seen very bad solder connections around the memory chips, and yeah, they didn't look much better around the RAM DAC. There was no crack in the solder, but they didn't look shiny, they looked old and, well, no longer as good as they could be. So I gave it a shot and reflowed the solder around these chips, and this is what fixed this card.
In 2291, in an attempt to control violence among deep space miners, the New Earth government legalized no-holds-barred fighting.
Leandry Mining Corporation, working with the NEG, established a series of leagues
And bloody public exhibitions. The fight's popularity grew with their brutality. Soon, Leandry discovered that the public matches were their most profitable enterprise. The Professional League was formed. A cabal of the most violent and skilled warriors
In known space, selected to fight in a grand tournament.
Killing spree. Double kill.
Try turning the safety off. I'm hit. I'm under heavy
So yeah, let me know what you think about this project. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel, leave this video a like if you enjoyed the content, and if you want to support my work, you can head over to Patreon. There are different tiers you can pick from, or you can sign up for the free tier if you want to browse around. And of course, a big shout out to all my Patreons who already support me. Thank you so much. And of course, a big thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring my videos. Thank you so much. Your support helps me to make those videos. And this is all I have for you today. Thank you so much. Take care and bye bye.